The Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show. Here we go.
Good morning, America. What up, though? Nationwide, worldwide, we back at it. What up, Big Ragu? How you feeling today?
Hey, top of the morning to you, my guy. Championship Saturday is what it's all about today. A lot of things to be determined after today in the college football playoff, and we'll see how we come out with our picks. I know you and I made a little appearance early in the week, midweek. We kind of tipped our hat on some of our looks, but yeah. I'm looking forward to today's card. And how you getting along, my guy?
Man, I can't even lie. I had to go back in and reevaluate my card from earlier this week. I mean, stuff is moving at a fast rate. I mean, coaches are getting fired here and left and right and all that stuff. Because while we were on the show on Wednesday, Andy Avalos did get fired over at Boise State. So he's out of there. They got an interim coach in. So I was high on UNLV, and we'll talk about that one later. But yeah, so a lot of moving parts. Nevada coach got fired. I mean, there's coaches. They talk about trying to get Barry Odom to Houston already. It's just a lot of wild stuff going on.
Let them play the championship game, then let the chips fall where they may. You know, just all the distractions a lot of times. But
yeah,
that's the revolving door in college football.
Yeah, and that's not including like you know, your favorite team, you know, the little groups you set up on your favorite teams and stuff. So I'm on the Notre Dame group, and just every 10 minutes it's a new guy heading to the transfer portal, So I'm like, oh man, it's a doggy dog world out here. This is usually, I can't even lie, a rough part of the season for me. You know, these championship games, you really don't know what to expect. But this year, I'm going to get a better grasp. I'm learning new things, and I'm studying new angles and looking at stuff a little different. So I'm going to go in there with a different state of mind, and we're going to handle these. These games don't seem to be too tough. There's a couple of them like, nah, no way I'm touching it, but it's still not touching them. And, you know, and there's a couple more that I like a lot. So you ready to rock and roll, Big Ragu? You want to tell them anything before we start this train up?
Nah, let's just get right into the card and see what we come up with.
Let's jump right in. Oh, and a bonus I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the show, Big Ragu. I'm pretty sure you already know what you're going to do in Army Navy. So we're going to do Army Navy, and then we're going to take next week off. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only game.
Whatever you want to do. I'm good.
So, yeah,
I'm good.
let's run through it. Yeah, let's run through it. First up, let me scrape the screen. My bad. Look at me messing up the graphics. Here we go. We got this Oklahoma State and Texas game. This is going down AT&T Stadium. Texas, a big 15-point favorite in this one. I don't know what to say about that. It hit me the same way that the Washington game hit me as well. So I don't know how I feel about that, but Oklahoma State's a different kind of team right here. The over-under is at 55.5. Not sure where we fall in that total market right there, but these Big 12 teams, sometimes they can't run it up in the second half. We never know. What you feeling about this one, Big Ragu?
Yeah, you and I, like I said, we broke down every game midweek. This is one game that I have a play on. The line's kind of ticked down a point on a total, and it kind of went my favor. I bet on Wednesday at 56.5. And you talked about this too. We talked about the Oak State team with Gundy and Ollie Gordon, the running back. You know, just they can light up a scoreboard, and then on the defensive side, they could shut it down, and then they could do the reverse opposite. They can not score a point, and then they can let a bunch of points happen. So you never know what you're going to get with this Oak State team. You really don't. We know what we get with Texas. Texas, we're going to get a a defensive battle. The offense is going to run through yours on the offensive side, and past games, we always look at these Big 12 matchups as big overs. But I think the sharps are telling us a little something here. With the money and the ticket count on the under here. So I think I know Texas is going to play defense. If Oak State decides to kind of slow the game down and try to, not to put Texas, it would be to their advantage to kind of get in a shootout with Texas. Texas, I don't think they're really built that way this year. They can compete, but Texas needs to live in a tighter zone. But that doesn't bode well for the spread for Texas either. So I think the game plays under, and I would say I would lean Oak State here in this spot. Like you said, you talked about style points, for teams that are sitting on the bubble right now. Texas is one of those teams with the win over Bama. They need a lot of help though. I would say, I like the under. That's my look on the game, but it's going to be the Oak State's game advantage for the game to go over, and Texas's advantage to go under here. But they got to cover some numbers too. So they got a big number, 15, huge number. So I think some of the money's coming in on the Texas side. Like you said, style points for Texas. They're going to need everyone they can get.
Absolutely. If you look at it big time, especially now that we know that Washington's going to be in here, Texas is going to have to show up and show out to be able to be in consideration. If some other things that happen, still got Florida State in there and some stuff like that. So some logistics to go on the playoffs, and this is a part of the puzzle right here. So I guess books inflated the number way up, but definitely if you would take that out of there, 15. If this was a regular third game of the week, third week of the season, and we seen the 15 of Oklahoma State, Texas, we'll probably take Oklahoma State all day. That's a big number. It would probably be more like 8.5 or 9 or something like that. So I'm gonna stick to that same logic because you being their situation is not gonna change the play on the field. So I do endorse Oklahoma State plus the points. I'm endorsing mostly all the dogs today, but I do endorse that. But where I find my sweet spot, believe it or not, was with Texas in the first half because Oklahoma State in all the matchups between Texas, they lost the first half. So Texas have remained to win the first half in the matchups in the past, and going forward, they definitely look like the team that could own the first half. They have the better defense. Going to take Oklahoma State a little more time to adjust. Quentin Ewers are back. They're going to be able to move the ball a little more on offense. I was even thinking first quarter and first half, Texas would probably be the spot. But I made it to the window with Texas first half minus 8.5. That's what got me too. I'm like 8.5. Why would you give an 8.5 on a 15 at first half? But they're gonna.
I imagine they probably got the first quarter probably like minus 4.5 or 5 maybe.
It was 3.5. 3.5.
3.5 the first quarter. Yeah, I mean, you got to figure like first quarter. In reality, you might see 3 possessions in the first quarter. So if you don't, and if you need more than if you need. You need a touchdown regardless. Field goal is not going to cut it. So that's the way you got to look. Anything north of 3, you got to have a touchdown, right, to cover the spread. So, and depending on who gets the ball first and, how they run the offense early on. But, 3.5 is probably not – if you think they could score, if their team total, they got to go back and check that out. But, when you start talking half times, we're always going to get a little bit, books are going to take it to us on the favorites early. They're gonna chop that number down. They're gonna raise the juice, on the dog side. But the favorite's always gonna have to lay a premium on the first half, usually, unless they adjust it in the line, which a lot of times we've seen them do that too. So, but I like that first half look with Texas. I think like you said, they should control the ball early on, and on the defensive side, they're gonna be stout there. And that number, like I said, it's coming down the other way too. So. I like that look on the Texas first half. I mean, we talked about style points. I mean, Oklahoma, Oregon last night. They didn't get it. That was a lot of back and forth. That game ticked under the total by half a point. It was set at I think the game finished at 64, and I think it was like 64.5 was the under. So we called it Noli Nose under in that one.
Noli Nose under by the skin of our cheeks. Shout out to Noli Nose.
Laying 65.
Shout out to Noli Nose, North Ender, Flea Mathis, Smoking Mirrors in here early, Brian Polk, couple more out here, all y'all over there on Twitter. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Again, the numbers been great for me all season of people showing up and latching on to what we got going on over here. But yeah, that was a part of my trying to new strategize around some of these big games where I haven't did so good in the past is I'm gonna go ahead and beat around the bush and find all the angles that I could try to get involved and get involved where at the angle with the most value. So Texas being, the better defense and all that good stuff and the numbers that says Texas should dominate the first half. Oklahoma State should make a pursue at coming back in the second half. And that's just what it is. Ready to keep going, Big Ragu?
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's go. Next up, this game right here, I don't like. I still don't like. I tried to look at it again. These teams are kind of like even, man. It's just kind of like which one you like better than the other. The number in between is just a number in between. It's only a touchdown. So, very, if you like Miami or Ohio, you might as well go money line. And if you like Toledo, then lay the 7. So that's just how it's gonna go. I don't like betting MAC games on the weekend because they do better on them little weekday games for me. What
Yeah,
about you, Big Ragu?
Tuesday night special, but Toledo, to their credit, they've been ranked for a good bit, right? They
Yeah.
always kind of bring it on the offensive side. They're like I think we looked at the numbers on this midweek as far as offensive defense goes, but Toledo, I'm definitely going to give the nod on the offensive side of the ball. They 11-1 overall. They're 5-1 on the road. I call it when I see a neutral game, I always call it road. I don't care if they for my numbers with the way I break games down. When I'm looking at teams playing on neutral field, I always take the road numbers. That's how I break them down both ways. So just to be fair, but on the road they're 5-1. 3-3 against the number, 2-4 to the under. I mean, two overs and 4 unders. So 4-2 to the under, I should say. But definitely a better look on the offensive side, and they're not too bad on the defense. Their numbers show 20th in the nation. But we got to look at when you look at these numbers, and we talked about this early on when we do breakdowns. You always got to look at the conference, and then you got 131 teams FBS, and so the level of play they're in, they could be ahead and above the competition and conference, and their numbers kind of tie into nation numbers. So you always got to take that with a grain of salt here. But top 20 offense and top 20 defense nationally ranked. So MAC championship game again for them. Miami they've eaten on the road. This team has been 6-1 on their own, 5-2 to the cover, 10-2 overall, 9-3 on the spread. So this team has been covering numbers all year long. They've been a money team. If you've been getting to the window with Miami you've been cashing some tickets. They don't put up a ton of points, but they do have a nasty defense. Their defense, I think they're ranked like 16th overall yards played, and they're just been lights out on the defensive side. So they've kind of got there. But here's the struggle for them. They've lost their quarterback, Gabbert. He's out. And so, that's going to put a little bit more pressure on the D here. I think points are going to be at a premium here. So we're back on another no special here. I bet this midweek at 44, it's ticked down to 43.5. There's not going to be a lot of high dollar bets. I think maybe some of the guys that are looking to get in action. This is not going to be a public game, obviously. So this might present some value for some of the under bettors, I think, here. So I still like it at 43.5. I think we see like a 20-17 type of game possibly here, and Miami could still probably get a cover at the same time. But it's going to be tough for them to put points up. So Toledo's going to have to stretch that Miami defense in the way that they know how, but kind of keep points at a minimum. So I like the under here, 43.5.
Yeah, the under the no special is a go-to in this situation right here. Many may not know, but yeah, definitely that's a good spot for under. It's either some little colder weather out there. It's not even very
Usually
hot.
don't equate MAC games with unders. Usually a lot of like overs,
Yeah.
but there are certain teams in the MAC that play to the under, and Miami always definitely won. And like I say,
Yeah.
Toledo's defense is up to the task, especially with Miami's being nicked up at the quarterback position.
Absolutely. Let's keep it rolling. Mountain West, where I do it the best. The game that gives me no sleep. It's Boise State and UNLV. But in this one, Andy Avalos out of there. I didn't even know earlier this week. I was just doing my normal walkthrough of the week of the sports media that I listen to, and they're like, "Whoa, he got fired." I'm like, "Wait a minute! I didn't. I said something about him in the show. He was on the hot seat." And while we were on the show, of course they were listening. They heard what I said, so that he went
Right.
ahead and fired him.
Push the button.
So yeah. But no Andy Avalos in this one. I forget the interim coach that's stepping up, but they really like that guy. They say that the players really like him, and it's going to be a tough thing if they don't choose him as the next. Plenty of players said they'll walk if they don't let the interim coach. So they like this guy big time. And once again, I did predict earlier in the season that Boise State was going to win the title. But I really did fall in love with this UNLV team. And even some talks on the UNLV side made me continue to fall in love with the UNLV team because Barry Odom has barely been there a year at UNLV. And they're already talking about he's the best candidate for the Houston job and here and there, And I'm like, the guy is in Vegas. He just living, having the greatest time of his life. You want him to interrupt that and go to the third ward of Houston to go over there, but that just shows how much of a quality coach we've been talking about this guy all year. He's really turned this team around. Watch the game. You see, he runs one of these new contemporary offenses with two up backs to the right side. They run some way crazy motion with it. And they do their thing. So in this Boise UNLV game right here, though, the thing that I can't see from watching both of these teams the whole year is where do they put their foot down and really, really play defense. Although I like UNLV's front and a few things, I like their athleticism. They still have spots and they get hit all the time. Their games have been overs. So I don't see nothing changing with that on the UNLV side versus Boise. UNLV, they probably won't be able to slow down the run totally, but it'll show at spots that they can do it. It's still going to come down to third down play and what they do when they have to pass the ball. And either one of these teams could go gunslinging if they fall down a couple scores or something like that. So I don't see no big defensive stand out of Boise either. Boise's been winning a lot of their games by a lot of points, and they have holes in their defense. Everybody's been able to get a score in, here and there, from the best teams to the worst teams. Andy Avalos was supposed to be a defensive coach, and all of you raved about in Boise is the offense, because the defense has been kind of diminishing. So I don't see nothing stopping anything in this game, and I endorse the over first half and full game. I'm on it first half and full game. But that's one of my main plays. But to pick a side, I'm gonna go ahead and take UNLV. I also have UNLV in one of my little exotics where I'm taking all the dogs plus points. And UNLV's a dog in this game. I like taking them in the dog. They're coming off of a loss. Into a game where we could get the championship, and we've been playing well all year. So I'm taking UNLV right here. What you got on this one, Big Ragu? I know you've been hearing my Mountain West all year. I know you got a hypothesis on this.
Oh yeah, this is my second highest rated play of the day. I gave it out on Wednesday. When we did our show on Wednesday, and that number's kind of moved up, and it's the same thing that you're talking about is the total. I gave out a look on this game. If you go on Twitter, my tweet on Wednesday was over 59, 2 units on this spot here. I love it, and then numbers already gone up to 60.5. So some of my moves most of my games I've given out on Wednesday on Twitter, they've all kind of almost went all my direction, like 2 or 3 of them, which I'm ecstatic about that. So it tells me my cap is halfway decent anyways. Does it mean I'm going to win? Not really, but I'll take my chances, I'll play my percentages. I usually a little better than worst. But yeah, I agree with you. Look here wholeheartedly on the total for sure. UNLV, they've been in conference. They've got the job done. They week in, week out. They've scored, up in the 40s most games in conference. Every team has that one game though. I mean, it's just come at maybe I wouldn't say an opportune time for them to lose that last game, backing into the championship because everybody has that aberration game. The quality teams, and they've been a quality team, like you said, they've been coached up with Odom.
Mm.
Not shockingly enough, with Boise, before this game, letting their head coach go, so they're just telling us, hey, we want to move on. Now's the time. We want to see what these guys can do in this type of environment as a coach. Possibly, this is probably like you said, maybe you're trying to prop the coach up to kind of move forward for things for next year and see how he rallies the troops per se. The only thing that kind of put me off a little bit was, the number did open up on the Boise side at 2.5, and like I said, that could be the odds makers, figuring that that look at the last game with BY or with against San Jose State, with UNLV, but it doesn't make sense to me. They're playing at home. They're the better team, the better record. More offensively potent. Now there have been times where they can be a little bit leaky on defense, but the defense is still pretty good. And Boise, they've kind of been up and down. They're 7-5 on the year, and they're on the number, 6-5-1. They do play to the over 8-4 here, but on the road they play a little bit more to the underside. They're like 2-4. I mean, they play. No, I'm sorry. They're 5-1 to the over on the road. My bad. They're 2-4 against the number on the road. So they're a lot worse. All the indicators point to UNLV here. So I like to look on the UNLV side, but it just I'm just taking it back. How they made them. They made them a 2.5-point favorite right from the go. I think they opened up at 3, dropped to 2.5, and that number's kind of stood right where it's at. So, and even with the coaching change, it's still stand pat right now. So, and if you look at the first half number for UNLV, it's all over the place. You get a +0.5, +1.5, +1. They're all like anywhere from a +0.5 all the way up to 1.5. So if you're interested in UNLV, maybe a first half number, it'd be a good look for you. And then on the money line, I think they're like at plus 110 to even money. So I might take a stab at that. But I'm definitely on the over. I've already got my action down on that, and I'm probably going to be looking to play UNLV in the first half on the money line.
There it is. There. Big shout out to the chat, man. Our guy Razor Sharp Picks always shows up and say what up, man. Y'all go check out Razor Sharp. He got a million things going on right now that you can take advantage of.
Shout out to
He
our guy,
says UNLV +2.5 for him. $200 play right here. He just gave that out free, man. This guy don't play. So you just got that right here on the Boss and the Sauce. Courtesy to us, because that's our guy, right? But
shout out to
check out my man D Mills is in the chat. My man Jimmy Gomez just showed up. Our guy Tease is in the chat. And Nasty Nate. Oh man, Nate, we was on last night. I don't know. You had to tell us the story because you was probably there. But man, damn, I didn't get to watch the game. I had to watch the score. But we was looking good the whole game to the last little bit there. So it's all good though. Shout out to Joey Harb just jumped in the chat as well. Let's keep this thing going, man. Next game, SMU Tulane. We booed this game on the show on Wednesday, and this is one that I'm still don't want no parts of. I don't even have nothing to say or nothing on this one because I haven't been following either team as much or anything in this one. So I'm out. You got anything they can nourish themselves off of on this one?
See what I put together for this game here. This is the I think we both stood off of this game if I remember on Wednesday. But yeah, Tulane, they've been hanging in that top 25. I think what put me off on this one was the injury to the SMU quarterback. I think once that I'm trying to stay away from these injuries, and there's been a lot of them lately with the quarterbacks, unfortunately. But a game, and you hate to see that, like the game before the championship game where the quarterback goes down and then he's not able to play. Just it kind of puts a damper on things. But I mean, both of these teams are very good. Tulane 11-1. 5-7 covering to the number, 2-10, 2 overs and 10 unders for that Tulane squad. So Willie Fritz is got these guys playing some on, as far as the books are concerned, playing pretty stout on the defense to cover those, to put unders in effect. And SMU 10-2, 7-5, 6-6 to the over and under. Both teams, SMU on the road has been pretty good, winning games, but not really covering games. 2-4, 4-2 on the road, 2-4 to the number. So we're and Tulane at home has been 2-5 to the number in 7 games. So both of these teams in the splits have not done a great job of covering the number. So there's no real advantage there for either one of the splits. But you take the SMU quarterback out, who's put up a ton of yards for Coach Lashley, and they're going to have to run. I mean, look at the number in a game like this. You would have think that this game would be higher than 47, because both of these teams' offenses are pretty good. But I give the defensive nod to definitely, like I say, 2-10 to the under, or 10-2 to the under for Tulane playing at home in New Orleans. You almost have to have an overlook. So I would probably say I would lean under here again, because of the fact that the quarterback's out for SMU, and Tulane playing at home where they love to feast on those unders. So 6-1 to the under at home for Tulane. So I lean under, not an official play, just a small lean.
That's what's up right there. Just a small lean. We'll keep it going though. Next game, Appalachian State and Troy. This one right here. Yeah, I haven't been over here in the Sun Belt, Fun Belt enough. I know I've watched. I kept my eye on Troy. I've laid a little something with Appalachian State. I watched a few games, but not enough to make a determination at how far these two teams came. And I gotta take that in consideration in my capping. So I gotta step to the side on this one. But my man Big Ragu had a lot to say earlier in the week on this game. Y'all hear this?
Yeah. So this is an upset special, guys, for me. I'm all over App State here. A couple of reasons why. Troy, they put together a real nice season, 10-2. They eat at home, 5-1. Now we all know about James Madison. James Madison really should be playing in this game today, but they're not, because the NCAA rules, transferring over to FBS play. They didn't, but they did get him in a bowl game. They finally woke up because they didn't have enough 6-win teams, so they did put James Madison in the bowl game. But however, they're not playing in this game today. Troy's back in this game again, where they beat Coastal last year, 45-26. An App State team that we've used to see play in this game a lot, also. But they've had a big coaching carousel. Like in back-to-back years, they lost 3 head coaches, so things kind of settled down for App State. But the Sun Belt's probably in my estimation, DJ might argue with me, but that might be watered down next year. But they might come back. The Mountain West, I think the Sun Belt's probably got the deepest Group of 5 conference, or outside the Power 5. So they've got a lot of talented players up there. One guy in particular for App State, Joey Aguiar. He's a dual threat quarterback. Watch this kid. He threw for over 3,000 yards. He had 33 TD passes, and they got a solid running game, and they average almost 5 yards a carry. So they're top 30 offense, and this team, and this is a team that took down James Madison on national TV when game day was there 2 weeks ago. It's a team that relishes in the moment. So you know what? Get me to the window with App State on the money line here, guys. It's kind of last week when I was on, we talked about Northwestern, taking down Illinois, and I got a little too cute, try to make them an alternate line 6-point favorite. They won the game too, by the way, but they only won by 2, but they were getting 6 points. So I'm not playing that today. Today, just give me App State on the money line. I'm taking the money. I'm going to the window with App State on the money line today.
Hey, I'm sure nobody's holding that 6 point against you, Big Ragu. My
math was right. My points were a little bit off. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm 90% sure that only about 80% of them got there. Well, only about 20% of them got there with the 6 points, but probably 80 to 90% of them definitely took them on the money line.
Yeah,
because include myself on that one right there. So we ain't gonna hold that. We ain't gonna hold that one against you. You good. You good. As a matter of fact, today I got a dog teaser that I got going on, and I had to drop App State in there +5, plus another 6, so I got like 11 points with App State.
Yeah.
For shits and giggles and stuff like that.
Yeah, that number's dropping too, by the way. That number is coming down. That 5. It's ticked down a little bit. So it might go a little bit less before kick goes, but I think it's probably still stay around 5. They don't want to get too cute because then they get some buyback lands on 6 and they get middled. So watch out.
Yeah. Let me see. It looked like we had somebody joining us. I don't know where they went, but I don't know. Maybe it was Wine. But let's keep it going. Am I at the right spot? Michigan and Iowa, we already there? Yep. We haven't did Bama yet though. Bama after this? Let me see. Oh, I guess we got to be on point. Michigan, Iowa. After coming off the show and listen to the chat, I kind of agree with Iowa plus the points. So in my money line teaser, I had to throw Iowa in there plus 6 on that. So I'm getting 28 points. I think Michigan can win 27-0. I think it's a play on Iowa, but it's actually a play on how many points can Michigan actually score. I'm gonna have to go double check and see what Michigan's team total is in this game. But in this game right here, I only like Iowa plus the points. I'm not too fond in a big
28 and a
game
half.
like this. I don't know how Iowa's gonna get 28 and a half. See,
That's
so
the team total.
I'm getting some good value in my oh shucks. But yeah, that's the only look I can really see in here. I would kind of endorse the under as well. It's low 30s. Low 30s usually fall through as planned, but it is indoor at Lucas Stadium, so that changes the Big Ten effect to it. I'll say with the weather element. So no weather element, we could get an easy over if Iowa can figure out a way to find their way into the end zone. Big Ragu, I know we already know what Eric said this week, which usually we never know, but I already know what you on. So explain to these people how Iowa is going to score today. I'm gonna jump out for a second. I'm gonna jump out for a second so I could plug my laptop up. It's getting ready to die. So I'll come back in a second. Go ahead. Go take it.
Yeah. So anyways, this is a look I came up with. When I see, I would call it not low hanging fruit, but when I see stuff when I see a number that's kind of ticked down and then ticks back up a little bit as far as a team total goes, we know Iowa plays in these games where they're looking at 10-7, 13-10, a lot of unders. I mean, Iowa 10-2 to the under. This is a neutral game. This game's being played in Indiana, so I'm looking at road numbers here too. So they're dead under on the road. They're like 5-0 to the under on the roads here. So I mean, there's no question about the points being scored here with that total sitting at what we're looking at 34.5 now. So overall for the full game, but this is not a play against Iowa, basically, as far as what's going on with them and their inability to score points. I mean, they're so disciplined on the defensive side with their assignments, passing, running, and that's why, you're looking at Michigan. Michigan's a team that's scoring like 40 plus points a game and winning by margin every time. Now you're talking about, they got the margin margin numbers hung up there, 21.5, 22 for that matter. But 34 in the points. So they're basically telling that Michigan's defense, which gets talked about a lot. We all hang that hat on Iowa with their defense, but Michigan's defense is pretty darn good. I think they probably outdid them stat-wise whole season, for points against. I think they're like one of the top in the country, like 7.5 points a game, some ridiculous number. So how is Iowa going to even come close to covering or putting any kind of points on the board here? Well, they can do it. I mean, if you go back and look at the Iowa games, like I said, they're not winning pretty, but in conference, their lowest game. They had one game where they went on the road and played Penn State. They lost 31-0. So, like I said, every team has that one game. UNLV had it last, before coming in. That was the only game that they got really blanked. But every other game other than that, they've scored at the minimum 10 points. 10 points at the minimum. I mean, Northwestern, they beat 10-7. That was probably the lowest scoring game. And then the last couple of weeks, they 15-13, 13-10, 22-0. But I'm going to play Iowa here. Now, this number's kind of moved around a little bit. The team total is 6.5. Okay. I think when I played it early week, it was like, I want to say minus 115, something like that. Now I'm starting to see 7.5s and like these crooked books. I'm not going to name names, but the more popular ones, the ones we see advertised on TV all the time, they're hanging like 7.5 at plus 154, 7.5 at plus 180, under 7.5 minus 250, under minus 200. But there is FanDuel. Shout out to those guys. They're still hanging at 6.5 at about a minus 125 and under 6.5 at minus 100. So that's a fair number in my estimation. And I think Caesars is hanging like a minus 122 also. So that's what I'm on, guys. I'm not saying it's low-hanging fruit, but I think Iowa, in a game like this where the defenses are going to eat, somebody's going to get a turnover and field position to kind of benefit themselves. And I'm hoping one time it's Iowa. They get the ball like on the 10-yard line and can punch it in the end zone. So I'm taking a shot with Iowa on a team total over 6.5. I'm not saying it's low-hanging fruit, but goddamn, it sure looks like it.
I like it, man. If it wasn't another primetime game on it, I would just make some popcorn and sit up and watch and see how that one rolls out.
That's it.
I play that. You know what? I'll probably hop on it later to tell you the truth. I see my man Razors on it. I've been with this Iowa team all year. I've been saying since like week 5 or week 6. Quit thinking just because they don't have the best offense that they can't score at all.
Yeah,
and that's what people just be like, oh, they can't score at all, but they could even get up 3 field goals if you ask me. But shout out to my man Paco.
They might score 14 today. Then they'll have the whole, Twitter will be lit up tonight.
Yeah. That'll be a championship in itself for them. But let's keep it rolling. This is the last game right here. The big shebang right here.
We got one more game though. We got Georgia,
Alabama and Georgia. I don't know why that one ain't on here. Where did it go? I must have skipped past it somewhere.
We can talk about this one. I don't care, but whatever you want to do.
Well, let's do Alabama, Georgia first. I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared on me.
It's gone.
We'll do Alabama, Georgia
first
because this is an easy one for me. You guys will see where we at. I'm taking Georgia. I think Georgia just outclasses Alabama. I understand it's a lot of media plug. It's a lot of hype. Anytime they could talk about Saban and Alabama having a chance and Roll Tide and all that, it's going to bring – that's what people are used to. But to me, Kirby Smart, and I called him somebody else on the show, but Kirby Smart's he has raised this team. This is we talked about this 2 years ago. We said how he evolved after he lost all those players to the NFL draft. And what did he do? Come back and win the championship. And what do you think he's going to do? You think he's digressing in what he's doing? He hasn't digressed not one bit. He's undefeated. So I don't think there's nothing, no surprise. I don't think it's nothing. Basically, at this point, Kirby Smart just has Saban's number. And once you get a guy's number, you always got his number.
You dial it up, right?
Yeah, so I think Kirby Smart's just kind of got his number. Saban's going to put together a good product. Alabama could cover. I seen Alabama cover in what I looked at a couple times, but I'm going to take Georgia. But I'm not going to even lay the points in this one. I got Georgia in one of my money line parlays because I got a money line parlay to go in today too. And I'm going to use them money line right there, and I'm not going to stress it. If Alabama wins, great for Alabama. I mean, at this point, they done stumped. I used to not like Saban. You know how I used to feel about the SEC. But at this point, I'm his friend. Because they've been stumping and jumping on them. And, I hate to see people beat on somebody when they down. But the group that he got is his players. It's not him. He hasn't changed anything. He's gotten better at what he done. He made his assistants and everything lock in. They can't be jumping around and all that kind of stuff. He's been working better on his end, but he just doesn't have the players like he usually has. And I think he's just outclassed in this one, and Georgia slips by on this one. That's my take.
Yeah. That's a great breakdown. I love it. Everything you said couldn't be more true. And we never lie here. We maybe tweak little things here and there, but we're always transparent. And DJ just gave you a great breakdown on Georgia, which I agree 100%. But shout out to my guy Jimmy Vegas in the chat. He says Georgia by 50. No, pump your brakes on that one, Jimmy. But this is one that I'm kind of pushing back a little bit on. I think we'll find some commonality. Well, let me ask you this: what do you think about the total in this game?
The total in this spot, I would lean under in big games like this with teams like this. That's just a natural look. Like at this point of capping, you got some automatic when it comes to some of these primetime games like this. And under would definitely, I could talk it up without even looking at nothing and tell you, look, these coaches want to play chess. They've seen each other so many times. They know what they're going to do. Neither one of them, offense or defense, is very complicated. They have very simple. That's why I say, to me, it's the class of player that's going to make the difference, because they're going to run power. They're going to run, the simplest stuff. They don't have nothing real tricky on either side right here. So it could just go straight under. You're going to see them, turn it over back and forth. But when you have teams like these teams who have recruits that are 4- and 5-star recruits that caught the winning pass in high school and, all that kind of stuff, they could get to going back and forth at any time and just firing off on each other. It could be a 0-0 first half and a 25-25 game in the second. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of difficult to jump on the total in this game unless I start with the under. If you can't talk yourself into taking the under, then yeah, the over is probably the play. But in this situation, there's too many ways I could talk myself into the under.
I'm going to pull Lee Corso on the ass. Not so fast, my friend. But hey, I see Razor shot at him. He says a nickel on the Bama Georgia under 55. He likes that play a lot. Shout out to Razor for sharing that with the
Shout out to Razor.
But I tell you how I broke this game down midweek. And initially, if you go back and you look when these two teams play, I told Jimmy I like the under. I mean the over, excuse me. Here we go, talk about unders. I was on the over on Wednesday, 53.5. Now, Razor and I can both win if it lands on 54. We middle and the books start crying, right? But anyways, yeah. I mean, if you go back and look at it, I mean, when these two teams have played each other, and I realize, that Kirby's been there a minute now, so, and they have some history against one another with Saban and whatnot. So they've always hit. They've hit like 5 unders or 5 overs, and I think the last one went under by a point. The last time they played in the championship game, but in the national championship game and the SEC championship game, which is supposedly neutral site, but it's quasi home game for up in Atlanta, up in Georgia. Saban's won both meetings in Georgia in the SEC championship game, but I don't know. I just everything you break it down is spot on with the Georgia side. I think Bama has been that team that's kind of been looking in the bushes the whole season since they lost to Texas, and they've with Milroe, they had the quarterback change. I think something was a little off with him. They kind of sometimes coaches, they don't give you everything that's going on. I think that particular game, I'm not making excuses for Bama by no sense, but I think that particular game there was something that was kind of held back in that game, but. Ever since that game, this team's been on a mission. And Georgia, 29 consecutive wins. They've been rolling pretty hard. A lot of people are dogging Georgia for their schedule, but you know what? They handled business. They went through it. They don't pay in the first half. They've been starting slow in the first halves in a lot of games. but they've always come, running back. They haven't been great with the number. They're only 5-7 to the number this year, guys. 12-0 undefeated. 6-6 to the over and unders. Bama's been 9-2 to the over, 8-4 to the number. So, and then 5-0 on the road, 4-1 on the road for overs for Bama. So I'm not saying Bama's going to push their will on Georgia because they probably won't do it that way. But I think we're going to see a good game, and the number has ticked down to 4.5 here. So Razor could probably relate to this. This is a reverse line move because we got more bets, more money on Georgia, but the number's dropping on Bama. So what's that telling you guys? But anyways, I took Bama early in the week at plus 6.5. Now it's 4.5. And I took the over 53.5, and it's now 55. So I'm not going to give out a side because I think maybe it's getting a little too sharp, the number now. So the better number is gone, but I still endorse the over here. I'll give that out. I'm still going to say it's going to go over 55 points.
That's what's up right there. Big salute to my man Razor in the chat, giving you guys his plays. He, like I told you guys before, he's a serious capper right here, and for him to give you those jewels, shoot, I'm on them. You know what I'm saying? But my man Ramon is in the house with us. What's up, Ramon? I know you had to handle your business today, and we had a short card, but we hung around a while for you.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I really wanted sorry I didn't get to, the shows at the same time. So, and I heard Ragu talking earlier this week. Ragu, have we gotten any news? I know I'm right. You guys have already talked about it.
No, we haven't talked about it yet. The FSU game?
Is it time?
It's time.
Okay.
It's time.
You want me to break? You want me to start first on it?
Absolutely. Let me kind of Big Boss, you do such a great job hosting Ragu. So, Ragu, look, maybe you have the news for us. There's not a problem if Rodemaker's in there. Look, we love Jordan Travis. We wish he didn't get hurt. There's been a lot of talk on some of the shows. I got into it with some of the guys last night in a sporting kind of way, just to make an argument about the value of starting quarterbacks. I believe in college it is not as big of a deal. Yeah, when you got a guy with the experience, the leadership, the ability of a Jordan Travis, you're going to miss a player like that. But in college football, you're just bringing a guy in for 1, 2, maybe 3, or if you got a superstar, you can have him in there for 4 years. Rodemaker's shown good things. Hopefully he is in there. Maybe I'm just talking too much because the news is out. I've been on the air and didn't catch anything, but they got another guy behind him. And tell us, sir, about your Seminoles today and their prospects to play in the BCS semifinals.
Yeah, about Brock Glenn. Brock Glenn Brock Glenn has been taking all the reps in practice. Norvell did a presser last night, and my son who went to FSU, he kind of confirmed some things too. But they say game time decision, but when you're running the full practice with when he's running with the ones and he's taking 99% of the snaps, Rodemaker's there. He's doing drills, he's doing stuff. But they say game time, but all indications show Brock Glenn is going to probably go today for FSU. Which my breakdown on the game is still the same as it was. I'd rather have Rodemaker because he's been in Norvell's system for 3 years, and and if you go back and watch a little bit of film on what he did in that game, he did pretty good actually. He didn't he's not Jordan Travis. He's not going to put up Travis numbers, but he made some decisions with the football that were really solid, throwing the ball away, taking the safety instead of fumbling in the end zone. Just little things you don't see that don't look like what they are on camera. When you go back and watch it, but Brock Glenn, he plays a little fast. He's just gonna not have to turn the ball over for them to even have a shot. Louisville's defense is legit, guys. They got a good run defense. FSU's got a lot of talent all across the field with Coleman and the punt return. The Michigan State transfer, the wide receiver mode making big plays. Wilson, Benson, and running back. They're going to have to. The defense is going to have to step up like it always does. Like I told on the show Wednesday that a lot of this NFL talent stood home with FSU this year. They could have went draft. They want to come back for this moment. And I'm not taking a thing away from Louisville because I love Jeff Brom, what he's done. and Plummer. Plummer has the ability to turn the ball over a little bit. He's going to have to take down. It's going to come back to the quarterback play on the turnovers here, which it usually does. But the trench game is going to be big for the for Louisville to try to stop FSU run game. But they're going to have to stretch the field out just a little bit here. I'm thinking I'm not going to say it's going to be much for Glenn to do that, but he's going to have to be a facilitator, not try to make too much stuff. Play within himself. We always hear that saying a lot, but FSU's loaded with talent all the way across the field. They came back for this moment. I think it's really going to be on the defensive side where they win the game. And if Brom takes care of the football, they got a shot. If FSU doesn't take care of the football, they don't have a shot. And it comes down to that. But I think FSU's defense is going to be up. They're going to have to rise above and beyond, which they always do. Second half adjustments is what they've been spectacular of. I don't care what the number is in the second half of the game. If FSU's leading or down, bet FSU. Do yourself a favor. Bet FSU in the second half of this game. You'll make money. Bet it on the money line. Forget about the points, whatever it is. If they're laying 2, 3, or getting 2 or 3, whatever it is. But just take FSU money line second half. And I'm already at the window with FSU full game -2.5 for 3 units.
FSU and over for me, big boss. FSU and over.
I'm gonna have to turn into Stevie Wonder on this one. Very superstitious. The writing's on the wall. I'm just gonna be a little contrarian in this one. I hate to do it on my man Big Ragu's 3-unit play, but I've been saying it for a long time. I feel like this Louisville team is that TCU team of last year. It's nothing you can say that is super great about them, or did they get one great recruit that just changed everything? No, they started playing good ball across the board. It's probably a really, 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 really good group of kids that really came together. And when you play like that, even when all odds are against you, you still got a chance. And I think it's just a media play, right, that we see so much media around this Florida State team, because nowadays any type of media is positive media. So to me, the writing's on the wall. Florida State already got the excuse written down just in case. So they really don't have nothing to lose in the game. But Louisville is not this monster that's going to come and just knock them over, but they're going to give them a game for 4 quarters. And it's probably going to come down to a field goal. It could even go – I could see this game going into overtime. I could see this game flying high past the total. And then I could see this game being a really locked up short game. So in a case like this, and I've been taking the dogs all the way down the card, I'm going to continue to take the dogs, even though if I would have got it earlier this week, I would have got a better dog. But at the price they got right now, I just threw it in one of my money line parlays. So I actually took it plus the 2 points in my money line parlay. And let me run these off real quick. Let me take my Stevie Wonder impersonation off first. I didn't write down my plays this week, so I'm gonna run through them. So I got a teaser. Come on, computer. Here we go. One second. So I got a teaser here with Oklahoma State plus 21, App State plus 11, Louisville plus 8, and then I have a money line parlay. I have Texas on the money line, Georgia on the money line, and I have Louisville plus 2. I'm on Texas first quarter -3.5, Texas first half -8.5. I'm on the over in the first half of the Boise State game, and I'm also on the over full game in the Boise State game as well. And that's all I have for now. I'm looking to do some solo bets to back Georgia minus the spread and all that good stuff. But I'm also looking to do some live betting in some of these situations, guys. When you're watching these games today, if you get that feeling, like you can look at some of these games after 2 series in the first half and say this game going under. You know what I'm saying? You can catch a good number live. So look to hit them live too. You know what I'm saying? But that's it for me. I'm gonna let Ramon take over with he got a bunch of stuff for the FCS stuff. Go for it, Ramon.
Go get him, Ramon.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd just lead off here. I got 3 or 4 here in you to get you by on some other games today. One I didn't cover on my show, despite 2.5 hours of me rambling, was the SWAC championship game. That's why I was just a few minutes getting over to you. I just want to, kind of finalize my handicap. I'm sure you talked about all the other big championship games, but how about in the SWAC today, Big Boss? I'm going to look for the game to go under. This one's already had some serious pressure to the under. This is Prairie View against Florida A&M in this one. It opened 51 and a half, and now I'm showing it down to 48. This one goes off at 4 Eastern and 1 Pacific in the SWAC championship. I put them there in the comments. I don't know if you can copy and paste. Sound like you're having a little bit technology challenging us a little bit. Technology isn't going to keep us down, but there's my pick in the SWAC championship game. Prairie View and Florida A&M under. Prairie View went under in their last 2 games, 35 points game with Alabama State, and also a 48-point game against Southern that they won and covered in an upset, but both those did go under. Also, Florida A&M in their last game went under against Cookman. Just 31 points were scored in that one. These 2 teams did meet on October 28th, and Florida A&M spanked them 45-7. That wasn't over, but I look for this one obviously to be closer right now in a conference championship game. Over in the FCS, I'm running 3 plays by you here. We're going to start with Albany against Richmond here. Oh, thank you. I knew you could clean me up there a little bit with that info. But Albany here -7.5. They are hosting Richmond today. This one's had a lot of pressure both ways on the total. So just give me Albany here -7.5. Next up was my double play here, Villanova and over. I'm laying the points with Villanova -6.5. I will note the total in this one if it's a little uncomfortable, but should be a wild game. The total opened 51 in the Villanova. And usually with, you're like, a 7-point move, not going to do it. But I'm thinking I'm not too worried about it with this game with Youngstown and Villanova at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. I'm going over 58. It's Villanova and over. And one more I had on the end I didn't get to put in there was Furman in this one, 1 Eastern and 10 Pacific. Furman -7. They are taking on Tennessee Chattanooga. And I'm going to lay the Paladins here, -7, my FCS picks for today. And there's some other good games tonight, including top teams will be in action. South Dakota State's a 33.5-point favorite. They're probably one of the big-time favorites to win it all. My pick to win it all, Montana State. They are favored by 2.5 over North Dakota State. Other BCS playoffs, Sacramento State and South Dakota, Delaware and Montana. And they'll play that one at night, because what do you do in Montana? You play your games at 6 p.m. At night when it's really cold. Southern Illinois plays Idaho tonight. Those are the BCS games tonight. So yeah, Missoula at 7 o'clock at night must be awesome.
There it is, man. Y'all heard it.
And
here
you said
first.
there was a 7-point move to the over in that Villanova game?
Yeah, we're still taking the over, Big Boss. Well, it's going to be like that in the BCS. Those openers are hit really fast. And
thinly traded market too, right? Early on.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not right. It's not something where, I always say the value, you missed out on the value. Probably haven't missed out on much other than somebody probably dropping a, 500. They're going to get a free 500 because probably not going to be 51 points.
Yeah. And we will be taking we got a whopping 37,000 people in the chat right here. Appreciate them. But we will be taking next week off. We did a great job this week. Hats off to all you guys, me, Big Ragu, Ramon, my man Wine Time. We showed up and covered each other, and we put a quality show together for every week in this college football season. And we tried that last year. I got a little ill and things got a little turned off. So this year, just making it to this show to me means so much to me, and I appreciate everybody involved. I give y'all a round of applause This stuff ain't easy, believe it or not. You know, me and Big Ragu been doing this for years, and we'll tell you, now is probably the easiest it's ever been. Technology wise, all kinds of stuff is smooth. But this industry can wear you down. And it's something you love. You don't want to wear out something you love, but this thing will tear it up for you. But I feel all intact. We had a great season. We had a lot of viewers. We had a great responses, wonderful chats. Nothing but the best here, man. Shout out to all y'all in the chat. You know, some of our old school low baggers that show up, Red Girl, Razor, all y'all, man. Appreciate all y'all and all y'all do every week. But this is gonna be the last one for the day, and it's for next Saturday. That's Army versus Navy. Next week, Army is a 2-point favor. The over under is 28.5. I have one play and one play only for this one, and that will be the under, as 90 million people are going to be on this under. Out of all the matchups, this is probably the perfect one for the under to me. I don't see this thing getting over at all. So under 28.5 for me in this one. I couldn't pick a side, but my man, Big Ragu, he knows these teams pretty well through the years, and I'm pretty sure he can get you a side, huh, Big Ragu?
I'll try like hell, man. I've been trying to beat this over for many a day, man. I still haven't done it. And guess what? I already bet it at 30, so it's already ticked down to 28.5. So I'm on the under here too, guys. I mean, there's no secret. It doesn't matter, you know, what the number is with these two, and this is what I call the respect. So somebody wants to win the game, obviously, but when these two teams play, it's all out of respect. It's all about pageantry, you know. Just shout out to our guys in service, you know. And this game deserves to be the standalone game every year, like it is. You know, it's a beautiful thing. You know, the pregame ceremonies, the whole nine. It's just a wonderful event to watch. You know, just make a day of it. You know, stay in front of the TV and bring your family, let them watch it if they've never seen it before. So it's fascinating. But yeah, on the side here, I gotta go with the Black Knights here, guys. You know, just I know Navy's in transition. You know, they're trying some different things with the offense, and most of these academies teams that we've seen, you know, Air Force has probably got the President's Award. You know, but this game here, you know, like I say, being a standalone game, I'd probably say Army's probably the second best team. Not to take nothing away from Navy, because you know they've been trying to revamp, you know, their offense a little bit here, and even the Army for that matter. You know, they put the ball up a little bit more than usual, and the Army was pretty stout on third downs and conversions and stopping third downs, but they're not the same Army team of old, and Navy's not the same team they've been. So both of these teams are a little bit in transition, but I just have to give the slight edge, and you know, it's indicated in the number there. It's basically a pick 'em game, guys, but I lean Army here. But I like I said, I bet the under already at 30. It's down to 28.5. And if as long as it stays under 4 touchdowns, I would still say under.
Hey, before you go, Ramon, we got to do this for our guy, man. Special shout out to our guy, Jimmy. He is one of the servicemen who capped with us, and he says, go Army, because he was in the Army. So yeah, we gotta sprinkle a little something on. Even if you don't even care, just sprinkle a little something on the Army for my man Jimmy. Great capper,
Shout out to Jimmy,
great guy, and we proud of your service, Jimmy. And he never lets you not know that, you know, he's proud to be in the Army. And I appreciate Jimmy for being in the chat, and I definitely had to highlight him on that. Go for it, Ramon.
Oh, I love this game. Hope they can bring it to the West Coast one more time. This one's in Foxborough, actually, for the first time here. I'm going with the under, of course, as well. Just note that last year's game, a double overtime game, 37 points were scored. 2 years ago, 30 points were scored. So the totals are getting lower. The score isn't necessarily getting higher. The year before that was 15 points, but the year before that was 38 points. So 3 of the last 4 meetings. And if you count 27, which is just a point and a half away, 5 of the last 6 meetings have gotten within 1 point of this, stunning total, but I'm still going to roll with the under here, of course, in this one. Why not? And I'll just stick with that because everybody's on the under. Nothing you can do.
Hey, I was a drop ball in the end zone away from covering over, I think 2 years ago.
Have you been to this game, Reg? Have you been to the Army Navy game?
No, I've never been. I always wanted to go to Philadelphia when they played up there. You know, they usually play over there. But with the old Veteran Stadium, and now it's at Lincoln Field. But yeah, no, I've never been. I always want. It's on my bucket list. I'm going to get there one year.
No doubt. Not to brag about a lot of great. I've been to a lot. I mean, most of our fans, I'm sure, have been to your favorite events or great events. Yeah. I've been to a lot of big events. I want to go so bad. I mean, that's the one. I feel like the one. Having been to the bowl, having been to the big Super World Series, all those. I want to get to this game so bad. I do.
Maybe we'll try to get there next year somehow.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys, and great job and bringing me on middle of the year. I know whatever, but you know, appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you, my man.
Everybody does.
Let's see if we can get our guy Jimmy to come on live and hit those push-ups for every score for the Who-Bangin Nation.
Yeah, well, it won't be too many, right? I mean, even I can.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stress him out. You know, he come in here doing 6 push-ups.
Well, you got to start out with 6 and 7 and 13 and 14, and hopefully, like Ramon says, not too many.
But before we get out of here, we got a secret admirer in the chat. Our guy Tease is in the backstage. What up, Tease?
Wow, look who it is.
What's going on, guys?
Tease is gonna be getting ready to bring y'all some college basketball in a minute, but you want to let them know a couple plays or something before we get out of here, Tease?
I didn't bet any football today.
Oh, well,
no football.
Yeah, well,
our plays, right? That's what you do. Like you always
we're gonna sign off for a second, and Tease is gonna hop back on with his college hangout. In case you guys don't know Tease, if you first meet my man Tease, he was just in the chat. Then guess what? He's a great capper. He does a live show, and it's just you and him. Sometimes you just feel like it's just you and him, and y'all just having a conversation, and he just laying out all of the heat. And you know, he's a great capper in multiple sports. So make sure you join Tease in about 10 minutes, Tease, or something like that.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, about 10 minutes. Ramon, I'd love to have you on sometime if you ever want to come on and chop up some hoops. You know,
hey, I'm ready to go. Hey, I got my 3 pages of college basketball ready to fly here. So, you know, it's going to be. I'll be listening to you, getting my plays ready for. This is the day. I mean, we talk about. I respect what Tisa's saying because actually, guys, no disrespect. I mean, yeah, we're going to be on these championship football games, but. These are the days. This is where you attack the college basketball, really, when no one's following, when no one's paying attention. So nice to be with you, Tease, and I'll be watching here in just a few moments.
Right
and my college card is pretty thick today, and I plan to do more, but I haven't opened up today's college basketball yet. But I'm pretty sure the DJ and me catch an itch, and I'll probably do something. But I got to make a run, Tease. I would love to hop on there with you, but I got to make a run. I'll probably be listening to you and be in the chat.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I appreciate it, man. I sent you the plays for today, bro.
Okay, well, shit, I'm gonna take a look at them and keep it going from there. But thanks a million to everybody involved with this show, this channel, everything. Shout out to Ramon and everything he got going over there. Ramon, you want to go ahead and plug yourself in before we get out of here?
Hey, thanks a lot, Big Boss. I am on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the 40,000 subscriber juggernaut. Every day, 7 days a week, I preview the entire betting card, or at least all the best games. Tease is going to give you a bunch of college games. I went over the 3 top 40 matchups. You know, on a day like today, there was like 15 NBA, 14 hockey, and all those college games. Yeah. So, but I'm on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, 7 days a week. It takes me about 2 hours to get through a regular card, and it's just me rambling, but it's really all about the chat, the picks from the chat, the comments from the chat. And where would I be without the chat? I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't come on here if there wasn't anybody chatting with me or watching, even if it's just 50 or 100 people. That is motivation enough for me every morning to get up at 3:30 a.m. Las Vegas time. And for 55 years of my life, I've never been a morning person, but it has motivated me enough to do so. So please check me out, or you can catch the replays as well. Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Thank you, Big Boss.
Yeah, I like that. I'll do it. I'll do it for 10 people in the chat. But anyway, I got to get going here. appreciate the show, guys. Great show. Good to see you, Ramon. And if you guys want to talk some hoops, man, we'll be on Who-Bangin Sports Talk. So see you in a couple minutes. Peace out.
Have a day, brother. Have a day.
Yep. Good luck, y'all.
Hey, Big Ragu, just for old time's sake, where you want them to meet you at?
I want to see you at the window, baby.
Let's go.